For the Eagles,
touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
Oh, big save by Carter Hart.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin in the locker room on a Sunday. A Sunday where we got to get off the schneid, man. We had 0-2 yesterday. The Phillies lost, the Sixers lost, but we're winning today here in the locker room. Good morning, PT. Good morning, Mike.
You're bounce back. You're winning because of the outstanding talent that you're surrounded by?
That is correct. And before we get started, Mike, good buddy of ours, Pete, you lost your father. We want to, say sorry for your loss and prayers to you and your family. And you were telling me on the way in today that your dad was a big Phillies fan, and that's why we're streaming live on my YouTube channel. For those of you who want to check in on the StreamYard and my Facebook page, Billy Schwein. But you're wearing a Phillies hat today, Carlin, in honor of your dad.
Yes, that's all he cared about was Phillies. I remember when we first started doing the show, when we were talking about Flyers. I was like, guys, I'm not a Flyers fan.
Right.
You're a fan of what you grow up with.
Right.
We never grew up with the Flyers. It was his whole life growing up. He was a Philadelphia policeman, born and raised in Philly.
Right.
He grew up walking distance to Connie Mack. That's all it was. His whole life was Phillies.
How about the Eagles? No Eagles, just all Phillies, right? Or
a little bit of Eagles, little bit of Eagles, little bit of Sixers.
Look, Pete, back in the day, I mean, baseball ruled supreme, right? I mean, baseball was America's game up until when would you say about the middle 80s?
Yeah, even in the 80s, the Phillies were still important, and you had legacy people. I mean, when you bring up Connie Mack Stadium, when you bring up Shibe Park, that I just saw something on Facebook. In fact, I follow Frog, Mark Carfagno, Billy, the guy that's basically been the one-man advocate for Dick Allen to go into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
I'm friends with Mark on Facebook, so I see all his posts, and then I see vintage things in there. And somebody posted in a series. I got to share it with you, Mike Carlin, somehow. It's like 23 pictures of Connie Mack Stadium, maybe 8 months to a year after the final game.
Oh.
So it's just real eerie. It was kind of like Will Smith, I Am Legend. You know what I mean? The outfield is overgrown. The infield's overgrown. It's
the Valentine beer.
That sign's still there. The Longtine's watch sign is still there, right? Yeah. But the facade is down because it was after the fire. They'd had a fire. But so it was after the fire, but before they knocked it down. And I thought what was interesting, you're talking about your dad being a cop. The guy that took the pictures was Philly PD. And he said, I went in there, and he says, and you better believe that I was armed. Because it was post, the stadium was done.
Did you ever get a chance? You're too young to go to Connie Mack.
Never went to Connie, but I heard all about it. I mean, we talk about so much today of like Wrigley in Chicago, where it's downtown. You
or
walk
Boston, Fenway.
And my dad would be like, that was Connie Mack.
Yeah.
Connie Mack was right.
I had an opportunity.
It's kind of a shame they knocked it down, quite frankly. I mean, but back then, who was going to put the money in?
I went to Franklin Field. I saw several games at Franklin Field when I was a kid, but I never made it to Connie Mack.
I've been to Franklin Field, but getting back to my dad, like I'd say, Dad, what was it like back then to now? And like now we can't stand the Mets when we're just talking Philly.
Right.
Sure. And I was like, so what was it like back there with the A's? And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, who didn't you like? He goes, we didn't like anybody. He goes, we really didn't have a team that we just
Because anybody that came,
Right.
we wanted to beat. We couldn't stand them.
Right.
Because it's not like today where the Eagles, we don't like Dallas. And
Right.
baseball, we don't like, the
Just
men.
wanted to beat everybody.
Billy, you
then,
remember Harry's story too, though? It was a different time. Like Harry Callis talked about how he became a baseball fan because he was sitting near the dugout of the Washington Senators, and Mickey Vernon. It was a rain. There was a rain delay, and Mickey Vernon saw him sitting there and said, "Come here, kid." And he pulls him over to railing, pulls him into the dugout, and there's a young Harry Callis getting to sit in the dugout with Mickey Vernon and all the Senators stars at the time. I mean, that's kind of like, I just last week I asked you your favorite baseball movie. We asked Tommy that.
Yeah.
And like when you see stuff like that, The Natural, it was just the America rode by trains. There was no internet. There was no TMZ. You didn't have any of that to spoil it.
All right,
but thoughts for your dad. I'll just close with that.
So we got a great show lined up today. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about. The Phillies lose a game yesterday. I thought they should win. I mean, Zach Wheeler was cruising and then bing, but the wheels fall off.
10 straight.
The Sixers. I'm going to get on you a little bit.
I know. I'm ready.
Pete, he's our basketball aficionado.
He's our basketball
This
guru.
guy over here is like doom and gloom before the playoffs start, and he's really concerned, and they come out like gangbusters, and I don't care.
Nobody could have predicted that.
Well, that's right. But I have him in here. That's why I got him. He's my guru. So Joel Embiid, you guys, I don't care. He should be the MVP.
The voting's already in the books, buddy.
I know, but listen, he's 7
If you're
foot
campaigning
2.
for him now, you're campaigning too late.
I know, but he's 7'2", but he shoots the ball and does things like a guard play.
That 3 the other night.
Come
was
on, man.
Yeah.
Game 2, the turnaround jump shot from the corner was incredible. The overtime shot, the guy's dominating.
Don't forget the one near the free throw line where he sort of did the reverse around, fade away, poop, hit it.
Right?
I agree with all that.
But Garland, you were freaking out. You didn't think they get out of round 1?
No, I didn't.
By the way, Pete, listen, they're down. They're up 3-1. Doc Rivers has lost more 3-1 series leads than any other coach in NBA, right?
Doc's not on the floor. I thought the most telling thing that he said last night post game was, he comes out and he's talking about the style of play, and at one point he says, come on, guys, run a play. And that to me was like their own coach is indicting them of like, none of what you're doing out there is what we practiced. None of that has to do with our spacing or our sets or like basically that was Doc's version. What's the guy? Was it Hank Stram? That famous soundbite where he goes, "What?" He goes, "What the hell are we doing?" Right?
What the hell's going on? Right? That was Vince Lombardi.
Well, fine. So that was exactly what basically Doc was admitting in his post-game press conference last night. Look, to me, the best takeaway from last night is that they're pissed. Okay, I think they're mad that they didn't get the sweep up there. And we talked about this before we started the show. That infamous picture of Joel.
Right.
Joel came off the court and said, "Move over, Rook." And he basically told Tyrese to move down a seat so he could sit in between the big three. Now I don't know where Tobias was at this point, if he was still on the floor or where he was.
Part of the big three.
Right, but he's not part of the big three.
Here's the
although
picture
he's
that
been
I'm holding up
key.
in the Daily News, or excuse me, the Philadelphia Inquirer. All right.
Yeah, and Joel's right in the middle. And but as Mike Carlin astutely pointed out, if you watch that video, Billy, you know that James Harden was doing most of the talking. So you could argue that the greatest thing about James Harden being on the Sixers is that Joel doesn't have to do all the talking anymore.
Correct.
So we have a great show lined up. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk with Tommy Greene with our On the Mound segment, brought to you by
Aaron Beta's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
All right, and then hour 2, we're going to talk with our very own Ken Dunek, former Eagles and Philadelphia Stars tight end.
Now tell the truth. Did you even notice that the Stars won? Did you notice that yesterday?
Not yesterday. I watched the first game a little bit. I don't like the Union. I don't like
first game. Was there anybody there that wasn't on the field? It's so funny. I saw highlights last night. I watched Jamie Apodi on Channel 6, and I saw her highlights in the 10 o'clock show, the one on PHL 17, and she did a lot of football. In fact, she talked about the Eagles a little bit. Then she did Stars, right? And I saw that they won. I'm like, oh, good. They're 1-1. And I was really looking at the crowd, and the crowd was like maybe 1,000. It looked like.
Well,
I mean,
there was nobody,
right? So 1,000 is actually improvement, right? And then you know what she went to, Billy?
What?
30,000 people showing up for Penn State spring football.
There you go.
I mean, Penn State spring football is kicking the USFL's butt.
Let me tell you, if that is that the real number, 30,000?
Yeah, 30,000.
Because that's about half off.
Yeah.
They typically get 55, 60,000 for that game.
And I thought it was interesting, too, because, and I have bias, but in Nebraska, they would have had 65,000 because there's nothing to do except go see Husker spring football.
They get ready for that for months.
They do.
Hell yeah. We're going to talk to Ken Dunek a little bit about the Eagles draft, a little bit about the USFL, since he played in that league and won a championship with the Stars, but also Ken Dunek is good friends with Jay Wright. So he knew Jay Wright when he worked when Jay Wright worked for the Philadelphia Stars.
Let me ask you, Jay Wright was an intern, wasn't he?
Do you really think he's done, or is he just done in college?
I think
just done.
I think he's done.
I think he's done, but I think he's done for at least a couple of years until maybe the itch happens again. You just don't know.
Well, we had Phil Martelli on yesterday. You know what he said? What? He said we'll see how he is when he wakes up the next day, insinuating that when he's away from the game, he might, like Pete just alluded to, have an itch.
Right. And usually, like Pete said, he used the word years.
Right.
Sometimes guys retire and they take some 2-3 years. Nowadays, when you speed it up and you think about guys that are retiring, in less than a year, they're coming back. They already know that they want to get back into it. So I was
shocked, Pete. You shocked? You were shocked.
Totally
Right?
Totally came out of left field. He did a great, and the first thing I thought of too was like, wait a second, he was asked a question like this, and he admitted it in the press conference on Friday that Dana O'Neill, who I love, Dana Pennant O'Neill, if you're a longtime reader of the Daily News like Billy is, right? Now she just goes Dana P. Like I like the old days.
Can you see Jay Wright walking up and down the sidelines in LA with the Lakers?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I thought Mike Gill had an excellent point about that.
The Hollywood, the way he looked, I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
But part of the reason that if you buy into the narrative, part of the reason that Jay Wright has decided this is a good time to transition, he gets to go out on top.
Yeah.
The whole college basketball landscape is changing. I just saw something this morning about the kid that's going to get like $100,000 in NFI or the non-fungible, whatever,
right.
you know what I mean? Like endorsement deals.
Right.
Like no wonder people are in the transfer portal. And in fact, it was from a Temple page, full disclosure, but here was somebody commenting on the Temple Owls page saying, how the hell is anybody going to come to North Broad Street when all you have to promise is a hope and a dream and Miami's giving you $100,000 in a car endorsement?
Right. Maybe that's
forget about it.
He said, I mean, obviously people alluded to that. That's why that precipitated his leave, but he said he just lost the edge.
That's what he said,
but he didn't look like he lost the edge.
I mean, what I said yesterday to Phil Martelli? I said, looking back in retrospect, they should have seen that. Like he used to wear the best suits on the sideline. All of a sudden this year he's in sweatpants. It's like, when you're in retirement.
That dinner that Mike Carlin was at, the Big Five dinner that Jay Wright was at, he wore a suit.
Yeah, I have pictures.
And so with that night, there was stuff on social media. First of all, my girlfriend, that's one of her two celebrity crushes, if you will.
Right.
Yeah, you want to know who the other one is? If she's listening, she's going to kill me. Scott Grayson. She loves Scott Grayson.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so she'll be like, oh, my boyfriend's on TV.
She's always sticking up for me, though, when you break my stone.
Yeah, she doesn't like it when I mean to you.
When you think about Jay, though, really, he's going to, if he gets into the TV segment,
right,
he'll take over TV.
100%.
Yeah, he's only 60 years old. He's handsome. He's got, he's classy. He's,
There's so many guys that are on there, former coaches doing TV, and they do it for a year, they do it for 2 years, and then use that as the transition. In football, I think of Urban Meyer. What's he had, like 3 TV stints where he's on, he's off, he's on, he's off, right? To me, I think that, and I really do believe this is a possibility. That's why I said years. I think that after a while, he's going to let it settle in. But, I had somebody who was contemplating retirement from a long-time job say to me, there's only so much golf you can play.
Right.
Right. And there's, and you're built and you're wired and your DNA is to teach, mold, shape a program, and so who knows what that's another reason why I don't think he'd ever go to the NBA, because what are you going to do? You're going to tell LeBron James what to do? Nobody's going to listen at that level.
All right, so we got a great show lined up today. It's Sunday morning in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. The first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that will help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. If you're away for the winter, you're in Florida, you need somebody dependable. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers playoff basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with
Will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a deal. Get a 1-Series tractor for just $109 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Need to get away? Plan a vacation now and create memories to last a lifetime, starting with nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, and Miami. Book your low-cost flight today by visiting spirit.com.
Wow.
All right, we're back here in the locker room.
Only you would tell the guy, hey, don't talk with the mic's on. So then you say something to him. I heard him go, I know.
Well,
you pointed right at him.
He could nod.
unbelievable. You're like the zookeeper, you know, like,
Guys.
here's a fresh piece of meat. Rawr, I can't believe he bit my arm off. Like, you know.
All right, Pete, Mike, did you see what happened in New York last night?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't want to ever hear people rip Philadelphia for our fan behavior. That was the worst. I think that's the worst thing I've seen in baseball in a quite of a long time ever, probably. Name an incident. I mean, that was ugly, disgraceful. Pete.
It was terrible, and there's no reason for it, you know. And quite frankly, you know, they tried to run out there and get people, you know. You saw them trying to help out as best they could, but bottles, cans, debris,
and cans,
beer showers, you know, I mean, that's just unbelievable. And the Yankees themselves, like Aaron Judge and the Yankees,
they were all
they were the first guy, like, hey, at least if we run out there, maybe they'll stop throwing stuff because we're out there.
I like that, Pete, that those guys, the Yankees, ran out there. But that being said, I mean, that was just disgraceful. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
There's just no reason.
There's no reason for that,
you know, and certainly not in mass. You know what I mean? Sometimes you'll get one guy. You remember infamously the guy that poured the beer on Shane Victorino's head at Wrigley.
Yes.
You know, now listen, I've been to Wrigley. And I've been in those seats.
I've been in those seats
fact,
too.
the one time I was so inebriated, I wondered what the threshold was of the basket because I thought I was going to teeter-totter right over the wall and into the basket, and you were going to have like a beluga whale sitting there flopping around and like, hey, it was Deadliest Catch, the Wrigley Field version. We caught PT, but he's not dead yet. He's just heavily inebriated.
On a day where Mikel Cabrera gets his 3,000 hit, right? He's one of only 7 guys that have 500 home runs, and that was overshadowed by the disgrace that was displayed by New York Yankee fans.
Embarrassing
is
what it was.
Now, has Miguel Cabrera has he got enough recognition for what he has accomplished? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he has. Yeah, I mean, look, it's.
I'm surprised.
The countdown's been on, but baseball's, it's in the NBA playoffs right now. You got the NBA playoffs, you got the NFL draft coming up.
Right.
You know, and baseball no longer holds the spot that it used to hold. Like, you're thinking of like when Pete Rose got his 3,000 hitter, or Rod Carew, or, you know, anybody like that out there that, you know, would hit the 3,000 mark. You know, he's only the 7th player to have 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. I mean, if you look at the names he's with, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Eddie Murray, Rafael Palmeiro, Pujols, and Alex Rodriguez, that's pretty elite company. But no, he hasn't really got his full due.
That achievement, 3,000 hits alone, but to reiterate what Pete just said, that is an amazing achievement. Only 7 players in the history of Major League Baseball, and then
more have had 3,000. 7 players have had 3,000 and 500.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Make sure you
just
get the full
overshadowed by the disgrace that was displayed at New York Yankee Stadium, and then the NBA playoffs.
Right. And imagine being in the stands that day, because years from now, that's what they're going to talk about. They're going to say, "Oh, you were there." It's going to be, I was
Wait a second.
Day.
In the NBA playoffs, did you see some girl try to run on the court and they tackled her?
No.
Yeah, I saw that.
What game was that?
Whoa, you guys haven't heard of what's been happening?
No.
With NBA games, especially out west.
What?
Someone handcuffed herself to underneath.
I did see that. Yeah, there's been some protests.
There's
been some protests that are going on because they know so many eyeballs are on the NBA.
Right.
One girl handcuffed herself to the stanchion or whatever, and then she folded out some sign that said
the best,
whatever.
The best one was to try to glue herself to the floor.
That's true. She put
glue herself.
Right. She put like crazy glue on her head. Yeah.
Gorilla glue.
Yeah, whatever it was.
They're down shooting a foul shot, and she like runs out.
That explains
lays down.
it. Gosh, that explains it, because I was trying to understand. I saw this. It was Barstool or somebody. They had retweeted a girl. She was in the front row. Okay, no. She was in the second row. Okay, and she jumped up and started to run on the court. But this security guy who was like in uniform,
right,
not like. And when I say in uniform, not like Comcast uniform, like this guy was like a cop.
Security guy.
But Ryan Rothstein was who retweeted that. He retweeted the video of she jumps up like there's a foul down near that end.
Right.
So the girl knows that the cameras are going to be down near that end. She jumps up from the second row and starts to run on the court, and the cop tackles her. And Ryan retweeted it and said, "Howie, sign this guy up." You know, that's the best tackle.
You guys
ever.
remember Morgana?
Oh,
Remember
sure.
Morgana?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
She had the.
How
she
could
was
you
very,
not? She
very,
was very
down.
yes.
And
yes.
she would run, and that was
She'd get a kiss. Yeah.
And after a while, that became like
The
you
thing.
expected
Yeah,
her to go.
it was where's she going to show up?
Where's she going to
Like,
show
what
up?
town?
And then there was always that guy with the colorful wig.
The John 316 side.
Yeah, he would always show up, and
fright wig, and he'd be behind home plate or somewhere.
None of them top though. In my book, the all-time favorite prank.
Which was?
That was the guy who would dress up like a player and get into the line.
Oh yeah, that's happened a few times. Sure,
The
guy he'll wear like Charlotte warm-ups or whatnot, and he'll just like step
And the
out and
players
start
like,
hitting
who's
stuff.
this guy?
He
Right.
would run as soon as you ran past him. He would just jump right in, and he'd run right onto the court with the team, and he'd be shooting layups. And all of a sudden, you'd see the players looking at him like, "What's going on here? What's going on?" And then they get him out.
Billy, let me get this text in from Joey D. He says, "Wow, PT, you guys brought back memories talking about Connie Mack Stadium. I remember my first game as a doubleheader against the Cubs.
Wow.
We landed a man on the moon that day.
1969.
And also, when you talked about Mickey Vernon, I came from the same hometown. That's Marcus Hook, PA. Also home to an NFL star, Billy."
Say that too.
Mark, great. I appreciate when you don't listen to me. Yeah, I can see you dozing.
I wasn't dozing. I was reading something. Go ahead.
NFL star, Marcus Hook, PA, Billy, White Shoes, Johnson. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he has your first name, for God's sake. You think you know that.
So as we talk a little, we're going to start talking a little bit Phillies baseball, because in the next segment we're going to do On the Mound with Tommy Greene, brought to you by
Golf Specific Fitness, Aaron Beta's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment. I'm telling you, Billy, even with your bum knee and all your litany of issues,
yes,
they would fix you. Especially my guy, like Aaron is great.
I got to get over there.
Aaron has the combination of like both being able to break you down physically and understand like the physiology of what's going on with your body, but then he also has the PAT, like he's a golf teaching pro.
Okay.
Like he can break down swing plane and speed and where your hand should be, and are you bringing the club back in the right direction? I mean, he can just he's awesome. He's a great combination. It's like a unicorn. I mean, those don't exist.
I want to talk to Tommy Greene specifically about Zach Wheeler, because you brought it up that he's quoted as saying that he is getting stronger.
He literally says, "I'm still getting stronger."
He threw 86 pitches, 85 pitches, or 84 pitches yesterday.
How many? Just pick a number till you're happy.
56 strikes.
He threw 84 pitches, 56
It's
strikes.
almost like he's talking like it's still in his mind. It's spring training.
I'm going to drop the gloves with him. He's annoying me today.
I'm hungry, which means I'm hangry.
You didn't get a good night's sleep, did you?
I didn't get a good night's sleep, and I'm hangry.
He's got his Flyers hat. You got your Phillies hat on, and I have my.
Thank you for bringing that up. I've been wearing a Sixers hat, and I told Mike Gill this on Friday. It's got the Sixers emblem in it, and it's the old logo. And the one time we had Chris Heck on, who's the president of the marketing and all that.
Where's my new hat?
Right. So Chris Heck said that hat's not on brand, like it's the old logo. And I'm thinking, I bought it at your building, buddy. Like, what the heck? So, but I'm 3-0 in that hat, and I got to tell you guys, I did not wear that hat yesterday, so it's my fault that they lost.
So there comes that superstition in. All right, so we have a lot to do.
Yeah, hurry up. We got to get something.
Let's get the business taken care of. The first hour of the locker room was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that will help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing in the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. And of course, they've been celebrating 30 years being in business because they do it the right way. Give my good friend Ron Conklin a call at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the main line, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience is not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the main line, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. When we return, we'll talk with Tommy Greene. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin right here on 97.3 ESPN.
A no-doubter for Bryce Harper. Look out.
The Philadelphia Phillies return home.
In your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
Need to get away? Plan a vacation now and create memories to last a lifetime, starting with nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, and Miami. Book your low-cost flight today by visiting Spirit.com.
All right, guys, we're back. Let's get right to it. Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and bring in Tommy Greene on the Mound segment, brought to you by
Aaron Beta's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment.
On the Mound with Tommy Greene every Sunday here in the locker room. Good morning, Tina Greene.
Good morning, Billy. PT, good to hear you guys this morning.
And we got Mike Carlin in here with us as well. Tommy Greene, yesterday the Phillies go down 5-3, and Zach Wheeler, I guess it was his third start of the year.
Yep.
Yeah,
he was cruising. He was cruising. He pitches 5 and the wheels fall off of I guess 4 1/3 or 2/3. He falls apart. 84 pitches is not much. But he was quoted as saying after the game that he feels like he's getting stronger, just not quite there.
Well, I mean, what I saw, obviously, the difference between the start before and this past start yesterday was the velocity change. His velocity started going up compared to where it was. It made you think that he might, he might have an issue going on, but he was saying, his shoulder feels good and stuff. It's all about him getting going. But I mean, you look at, and bottom line is, his last 2 starts. This week since I last talked to you, he's had 2 starts, and he's 0-2 for the week, and he's given up, 15 hits and 11 earned runs. That's something's got to change. And he's getting stronger, but this is not spring training. It's not spring training. It's game on. He's going to stay. He's going to stay in the rotation unless he gets hurt because they're paying him, half a Brinks truck. So, but I'm just glad he's not hurt. But he made some adjustments a little bit. He was cruising, but you hang a couple pitches, they get that merry-go-round going again. And it kind of fell that way. And what's so disappointing in it, we scored 3 runs early, and that's all we get. If we left it there, that seems to be, we feast or famine. That's sort of, we're like in between now. We either score 9 or score 1-2 or whatever. But you gotta beat some teams 1-0, 2-1 sometimes too. So, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, run in the first and a run in the third, and then, like you said, famine after that. Meanwhile, the Brew Crew had 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and that's where all their offense came. Tommy Greene with us on the Maserati, the Mainline Hotline. Tommy, today's starter, and by today I mean tonight's starter, because it is a national game. You can hear it here on 97.3 ESPN and watch it nationally around the country, is Aaron Nola. What's been your take on Aaron Nola's start so far? Because I think it was either with Billy or Mike Gill. I'm not sure who I was discussing the Phillies with, but Aaron Nola, they put up a stat when he was in Colorado after the Colorado game that he's given up a major league leading 27 home runs since last May or something like that. There's no doubt he's a victim of the long ball.
Yes, there's no question about that. And that was his little bit of nemesis. And the positive thing, he didn't give up a home run in Colorado. So that's a good thing. He had that one game and he pitched a quality game, in Colorado, even though he got the loss. So it's lack of support behind you a little bit that day. And, sometimes that happens, but there's a positive there. But Aaron Nola has been the victim, obviously, and you hit it on the head of the long ball. And with that type of, 27 long balls in that amount of time, that's a lot of runs. Even if it's solo home runs, it's a lot of runs given up, and it's hard sometimes to come back from that. But especially if you're giving up 2 and 3 run homers, sometimes and that's when it just devastates the team. And a chance to come back. But his is sort of the same thing as Wheeler right now, is the mistakes. That's what's costing them the games. Costing them a great start, just like Noah's first start. He had that. We got up in the zone and lost location a little bit, and the teams took advantage. And that's been his bugaboo since last year. I was missing in locations that he's trying to throw away, and he misses up and over the plate, down the middle. And those guys didn't miss it. He's just getting that rut right now. They're not popping it up or swinging and missing. And sometimes it goes that way. You get away with pitches, right? His tendency over the last, since May last year, he hadn't been getting away with a lot of those pitches. So, if he doesn't give one up in Colorado and the ball doesn't move as much, say to speak there, he was doing some pretty good positive things there. So hopefully he can build on that today and keep going.
You're talking about mistakes. It's so when you're locked in, like you said, it seems like but he has great stuff, Tommy. But he makes 1 or 2 mistakes and it ends up costing him. Obviously that's the difference, I guess, between Major League Baseball, college, or minor leagues. That these guys can take advantage. You make that one mistake and you're you see one go over the
Well,
fence.
Yeah, well, that's what makes the game so great. I mean, we're not perfect out there. We don't throw the ball exactly where we want to all the time. It's a lot like golf now. Me and PT and y'all, we go play golf, and it's all about your misses. Where you miss at? Do you miss in a good place or a bad place? Do you miss in the pond or do you miss short of the pond? Or something like, so you have a shot in. And it's the same way as pitching. It's about, I'm throwing away. You'd rather miss away than miss out and over the plate, over the middle of the plate. And that's been a little bit a bugaboo with it. And I mean, sometimes you might make a mistake or two or three a game, and the difference between fouling them off and squaring it up. I mean, that's like the roll of the dice sometimes. It's all about the quality of the stuff. Sometimes, if he's up and over the plate, he flattens out a little bit and it's easier to hit. And he doesn't have the hop on the ball, so to speak, or the movement on the ball. And then that just sits up there for a hitter for his eyes light up and he makes a good pass at you. You got to give a little bit of credit to the hitter of being able to hit that pitch too, because it's not that easy sometimes to hit that round ball with a round bat. But he's been they've taken advantage of Aaron's mistakes. That's for definite, and it's always a work in progress. We always work. I know I did. I can speak for myself. When I worked on the side in the bullpen, I never set a catcher down the middle of the plate. I always tried to work the halves in away or halves or in, and kind of once by the end I was really locating, good to that side of the plate where I want to go, trying to stay out of the middle of the plate. And you're trying to teach yourself how to do that, to repeat that. So, when the adrenaline gets going a little bit, it gets pumping, and sometimes it's, you leave some balls up in certain situations, and, you got to hope sometimes they foul them off, not friggin' hammer them like they have been.
Now, Tommy, I'm looking at the ERA of our pitchers, and like Kyle Gibson's 3.57. They're all, these are all inflated ERAs. 3.57. Noel is 5.52.
It's a hitter's game now.
Yeah, Wheeler's 0-3.
And it's early.
Wheeler's 0-3 with an 8.53 ERA. That's concerning right now. I know the Phillies are notoriously famous for having slow starts, but this is ridiculous.
Well, I look at Gibson. He's been solid. 3.57 is okay. That's a good starter. If he has a 3.57 at the end of the year, he's done his job. He's given us a chance to win ball games to do. Not everybody can throw into twos. You on the twos, you're an all-star, and all the time. You have that good stretch, but one game can blow your ERA up. That don't dictate how you pitched all the year. You have one game, they might leave you to dry out there a little bit, especially back today when I pitched a little bit. We didn't have 8 or 9 pitchers in the bullpen. You had to eat the ball sometimes and take one for the team, as they said. So it doesn't dictate how you pitch all the time. Gibson's been doing his job. Him and Eflin are a lot alike, where they pitch to contact a lot. With movement. And especially with Gibson, his ball moves a lot. And to me, he's kept us right there in games and gave us a chance to win. And that's all you can ask of that guy. You look at his line; he gives up less hits than innings, and he hasn't walked a ton of guys. He's walked 5 and he punched out 19 in 17 2/3 innings. And he's given up one home run. Compared to Aaron, Aaron's given up 4 home runs in in 3 starts. So that's that's 30 starts a year, and you give up a home run a game. That's 30 home runs. That's a lot of home runs. So as a sinker ball guy, you got to stay down in the zone with Aaron, and Gibson has been that consistent factor I think we've had in range that we've had in the rotation. Also, Ranger's getting up to speed now with his pitch count. He's been battling, but his command ain't quite been there either. But he's kept us in ball games while he's been in there and not letting nothing get out of control. So he's done his job for the most part since he's been there. Still needs to tighten up his control more. He's walking way too many.
Hey, Tommy, it's Mike Cardone. Give us an idea for our listening audience of really what happens behind the scenes what's happening right now with Wheeler. He's our number 1 pitcher. He's been in the league long enough. It's not like he's a rookie or a year or 2 in. With the pitching coach, is this something that him and the pitching coach are actually talking, or does the pitching coach give him his due and say, I'm going to let him work it out on his own?
Well, there's a little bit of both. When you go to work on the side days and stuff like that. I know as being a pitcher and stuff, it's especially, I mean, as far as I'm going to talk as a reliever just for a second, you're only, you got to forget your last start because today's a new day. And as a starting pitcher, you look back, you got 5 days or 4 days in between, and then you pitch again. You evaluate what you've done wrong, and what you need to do to correct it and on the side and what you need to work on. And then you got to let it go. It's all about the preparation. You repeating what the positive things are that you know how to do well that keeps you down in the zone. He might have, in that one inning, he started giving it up a little bit. Why did he hang a couple of those breaking balls that stayed up, bell high? Sometimes it just happens, but you got to make sure, that I'd rather bounce it in those situations than hang it over the middle of the zone. So it's about the way you think sometimes. And then, if there's a mechanical flaw, if there's something they're working on there, obviously they talk about it and say, hey, this is what I saw. And they might go to video and he's able to see it himself, what's going on. Cause that's the technology today more so. And that's what a good pitching coach is. He knows each guy and what makes them tick a little bit. That's the key to being a good pitching coach because everybody's different. There's not one way, like the analytics say. Well, this guy's got to be there. Eflin and Gibson, them do not pitch up at the top of the zone. They got to pitch down in the zone. A lot of people can't ride that ball. A great segment, if you saw the other night, was on the MLB channel was when Al Leiter was talking about, one of the pitchers for the San Francisco Giants where he needs to pitch, down because he's a sinker slider guy, and they tried the analytics, they pitch up in the zone. You can't do that. Everybody's got to pitch to their strengths,
right.
So that type of thing. Sometimes your strengths match up with the other guy's strengths, but the still is hard to hit a round ball with a round bat. You don't shy away. You make a good pitch. You make a good pitch, and that's bottom line. So you work on your positive strengths. You learn from what you did the game before, and you talk about it. And then when you get on your side day, you kind of reinforce those. If he's got a mechanical issues, you're reinforcing the positive. And him throwing to the glove, he's not airing it out all the time, but seeing himself throwing the ball in positive and good areas, missing not over the middle of the plate.
All right,
and that was one of the keys. So.
All right, Tommy Greene, we catch the Phillies tonight at 7 p.m. against the Brewers, national television. We have it right here on 97.3 ESPN. Tommy Greene, as always, we appreciate On the Mound segment with you, brought to you by
Aaron Beta's Golf and Sports Performance Club. Call 609-788-4661 or visit gsfitness.com for your free assessment. I know Tommy and I are going to check out the state-of-the-art golf simulators, TrackMan, Foresight technology, and then after they kick our ass, we're going to get to that massage therapy and assisted stretching. We need all the help we can get.
All right, Tommy. We'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, pal. Thank you.
Happy Sunday, Tommy. Take care.
T. Greene. All right, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end and ex-Philadelphia star tight end Ken Dunek.
Who's going to be on in the bottom of the next hour.
That is correct. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up hour number one. You're listening to The Locker Room, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio.
Cool, wing left for three.
Conditions apply.
A new fusion of flavor, friendly competition, and fiery foods. That's the Chili Knockout and Spicy Food Fest, Saturday, May 21st. Orange Loop Arena, New York Avenue in Atlantic City. It's an opportunity for culinary discovery. Chili Knockout is a food festival devoted to exploring all things flavorful and spicy. It's an interactive, you be the judge, chili cook-off, and a day out with friends and family, supporting this seaside community culinary scene. It's a kickoff to spring like no other. Tickets are available now at chiliknockout.com. Produced by Good Time Tricycle.
All right, we're back. APT, the Phillies are 6-9. It's April 24th. Mets are 11-4.
Yeah, once again, they have the palindrome number, right? 9-6 versus 6-9. I have some Brewers fans that I am friends with on Facebook.
Okay.
One guy's still working in TV news in Wisconsin, Rhinelander, Wausau, something like that. The other guy, Meisenheimer, he lives.
Weisenheimer.
Yeah, that's exactly what he called a segment. Weisenheimers. Yeah, look at you doing the names. And you didn't even know. He's a Brewers fan. Then Greg Newman. I got 3 guys that are all Brewers fans. And after game 1, I took a screenshot of the final score Friday night.
Right.
And then I sent that. I put it on Facebook, name tagged him, and said, I'm just going to leave this right here. and Dale wrote back, really? You're smack talking in April? And then Newman finally chimed in like,
Newman.
He was like, you got to be kidding me. And I wrote back to Greg Newman and said, that's just because I'm afraid of the Bucks. Like, I'm telling you, those are 3 guys that were like ecstatic when Milwaukee won it all last year. But I have something I wanted to ask Tommy Greene. I wanted to talk to you guys about. I looked up the Major League service time for one Ira Thomas Green. Don't call him Ira. That'll tick him off. But Tina Green played 8 years total in the big leagues. He played 6 with the Phillies, 2 with the Braves, and he gets credit for a year of service time with Houston. Okay, that's where
he was in the league more than the longer.
8
Yeah, me too.
years. What's interesting about that is that Bryce Harper just hit his 10 years of Major League service time. You remember, Billy, like anybody that follows the game, when you're a 10-5 guy, right? Not Bryce already had his protection anyway, and he's the reigning MVP. But it's sort of surprising to think, man, Bryce Harper's been in the big leagues for 10 years. And then you think about the fact, well, yeah, when you start at 19 and you're winning the NL Rookie of the Year, and now you're 29.
And I said this yesterday on the broadcast yesterday, the program yesterday, that when he was with the Nationals, I couldn't stand him.
Right.
I had a disdain for Bryce Harper. But I'll tell you what, he's really won the Phillies fan. He won me over, won the Philly fans, or not by his just winning the MVP, but his attitude. Like Phil Martelli even alluded to it yesterday on the show. Like, Philadelphia wants to love you, and they want you to love them. You know what I mean? And he says all the right things. He's
a true Philadelphia fan. You know what they want?
Passion.
Exactly.
He gives
they want it on the field or on the court, but they also want it off the court or off the field.
Exactly.
And thank God there's a DH so he can keep playing.
Yeah, well,
he would have been on the you can't call the DL anymore. It's now called the injured list, right? By the way, you want to feel old? Mike Trout's got 12 years of service time. He started in 2011.
Trout?
That went
He can't
fast.
be he's 28, 29. How old
I'll
is he?
tell you exactly how old Trout is. Trout is 30 years and
30?
260 days.
Wow.
So this August, he will turn 31. Mike Trout.
Listen,
Mikey Trout.
I'd love
the Millville Meteor, who I covered in high school, is 31.
I'd love to see him in a Phillies pinstripe, but I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to see that.
Not when he signed a 12-year, $426 million contract, and he signed through 2030.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, too. People at the time thought that they were going to be able to wedge him out of Anaheim and that he wasn't going to stay there. And I think the reason is that he's carved out a life that he enjoys. Yeah. First of all, it's great baseball weather to play in.
Yeah, it is.
And secondly, if you're Mike Trout in Orange County, you can go wherever you want.
Walk on water out there.
You put a hoodie on or you put a hat on and nobody's paying any attention to you. You're just another dude in line waiting for the Bubble Guppies movie or the, whatever's out there, the Sonic the Hedgehog 2, right?
Hour number 1 is in the books. Hour 2, we'll get into our Sixers talk. Maybe a little Eagles we'll throw in there. The draft's coming up. We have Ken Dunek at the bottom of the hour. I can't wait to talk to Ken. Of course, Ken's a great guy, and we'll pick his brain. It's Sunday morning in the locker room with Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, Billy Schweim, right here on 97.3.
Praise the Schweim.
Phillies baseball tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll be back after this.
The NBA playoffs are here, and Prop Swap is where real sports bettors
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Get me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin. We're talking a little 76ers basketball, and the Sixers drop a game to the Toronto Raptors in Toronto, Game 4, 110.
So much for the Brooms.
102.
So much for the Brooms.
Yes, and I think they missed a golden opportunity to take advantage, win that game. Remember, Van Fleet didn't play after the second quarter.
Right.
They had a golden opportunity to win, sweep the Raptors.
Or according to you, you didn't think he played at all.
Yeah, I didn't say like so.
And rest. They could have
rested.
rested.
Expose me for everything.
Yeah, well,
But listen,
I'd rather do it than you expose yourself. Hey now, it's a Sunday morning show.
But the point I'm trying to make is they had an opportunity to get rid of the Toronto Raptors and rest because
they would have had at least a full week's rest.
Joel Embiid is dealing with a thumb issue, correct?
Yeah.
I think this is I think yesterday was a concerning loss.
It was really definitely a missed opportunity. I agree with that. 100%. And look, it's hard to sweep teams. It's hard. It's hard. I thought, somehow remarkably they were within 5 at half. And I thought they missed a lot of shots. I thought afterwards, Doc Rivers said it. He's like, sometimes I was out there just thinking, like, run a play. You know who was MIA in yesterday's game? Like, literally just standing around wondering, like, when's it my turn?
Who?
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
And when they're going good, Tyrese Maxey is noticeable. Not all the time, but he's noticeable out there. And look, Tyrese was 4 for 12. Danny Green was 2 for 10.
Field goal percentage,
right?
They were tied with that, 42%. 3-pointers. The Raptors shot 23% from the 3 line, Mike, and the Sixers shot 41.9.
And they
they lose the game?
They got an all-world turnovers. Didn't you look at the key stats?
Right. I'm just throwing it out there.
15 turnovers that led to like 27 points or something like that.
Out-rebounded.
Yeah, they got beat on the glass too. That's what Tobias Harris talked about after the game. You can't get beat on the glass.
Mike and Pete, I'm not going to bellyache about the officiating, but it was god-awful yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
god-awful.
Yeah, look, I think it got under their
Joel
skin.
Embiid even double-dribbled. He got away with it.
I agree.
Did you see that?
I thought the officiating was poor, but that's not the reason they lost the game.
I'm going to have to get Javi on this show.
That's not the reason they lost the game.
I'll get Steve on, man. Straighten him out.
Yeah, sure. What's he going to do?
Listen, Steve Javi's the greatest guy.
Do you know what the offensive rebounds numbers were? 13-6 they got on the offensive.
Yeah.
And then on the overall, they got out-rebounded 46-41. You can't do that. You can't. Key stats, turnover battles,
rebounds,
and rebounds.
Hey,
right?
all right, so Carlin,
and
you were worried. Carlin was all freaking out, worried about the series because they didn't look good at the end of the regular season.
I knew this was coming.
So what's going on, Carlin? You're my basketball guy.
Well, first of all,
by the way, yesterday on the program, the sports book in Siglieri picked Toronto. He said
to win.
Yeah,
to win that game.
At cover.
I said the same thing.
Did they cover? What was the line? Yeah, they covered. 110 to 102.
When you're in the play, I mean, Toronto's a good team, Billy.
Yeah,
okay?
They're a proud franchise. They're a proud organization.
They weren't going to be swept. I don't care if they played the whole second
come
team.
Come on, Mike. The Sixers are a better team.
Yeah, but
they don't have an answer for Joel Embiid.
No, but what happens? It's not just the score. Sometimes it's the feel on the court. Those players, like Pete just said about Maxey, you get to the point where you can feel like, hey, this team really is playing their heart out to win this game. And it starts getting.
I didn't get that feeling that the Sixers had that type of intensity. I mean, Green, he missed a couple of free. How does a guy that's 7'2" or somebody that's 6'8" with their fingers 3 inches from the rim miss it?
Yeah, I mean, look, people miss bunnies all the time. To me, the game didn't get away until the middle of basically once they got to about the fourth quarter. Remember, in the third quarter, the Sixers made a little run. Right, and they got Tyrese Maxey hit a 3 and put him within a point.
And that was a big deep 3. That was like 3 feet away from the line.
64-63 at that point. But then Anunoby hit one in the other direction, go back up by 3, and then the next thing you know, you look up again. Joel Embiid, when he had that dunk, he had a big dunk, 70-67. That's within 3. You get to the end of the quarter, you're still in it. It's 80-77. So 3 quarters of play, as poorly as the Sixers had played, everything was still there for them to steal. Another win up there and sweep them out.
How many uncontested layups or dunks did you see Toronto get away with yesterday?
Well,
I
love Coach. Okay, Coach brought up the best point last night. The Sixers abandoned what got them to that point,
Exactly.
which was penetrating the lane and pressing the issue. Okay. So first of all, turnover points led to fast breaking the other direction. And then secondly, they were trying for like jump shots or 3-pointers as opposed to put the pressure on, drive the lane. Like I know that the officials weren't giving them the calls, but look, when James Harden, he made 2 free throws to cut it to 82-81. And from that point on, Toronto went on a run where it was Siakam with a free throw, Siakam with a shot, Siakam with another free throw, Achua with a 2-pointer, right? And then Harden got back to the line again and got fouled. But by that point, they pulled away. Siakam 91-85. Siakam, he's all over this play-by-play list. He did, and you know what? I thought I don't praise her a lot. But Kate Scott made a very good point because she was up there.
I watched the national feed. I can't.
The Toronto media, in fact, all of Canada basically was ripping on Siakam like, dude, you're our franchise guy. How do you only score 12 points in an overtime loss, right? In game 3. So Siakam played like a man possessed yesterday.
Carlin, give me an answer because
the answer is it's over tomorrow. That's the answer.
I would agree with that.
And sometimes
Gary Trent Jr. was very good too.
By the way, the referees, Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and Rodney Mott, I think those guys were god awful, horrible.
Well, you're an Ocean City guy. I think Ed Malloy vacations in Ocean City. You just go knock on his condo.
We'll get him on a show and rip him.
Yeah, right.
Now that was a typical game where, hey, let's do our best to win this game, and then you get to the point where let's just go home. They want it that bad, just give it to them.
But here's the thing: you see, on every single play. It seems like either Philadelphia 76ers or the Toronto Raptors are complaining about the their arms are in the air. They're freaking out on every single.
Do you watch other games?
Yeah. I watched Boston and Nets last night. I watched the whole thing.
I got something for you.
I didn't see half the complaining I did last night.
I saved this for you, Billy. I've been wanting to tell you this.
By the way, what did I say to you guys six weeks ago? I said, watch out for the Celtics.
The Celtics are red hot.
No one believed me.
Here you go, Billy. This is a tweet right for you. If Ben Simmons plays in game 4, he has the potential to set NBA playoff history by becoming the first player to ever get eliminated from the playoffs in back-to-back games played.
Oh, nice. Wow.
That's right up your alley. There you are. I'll put it on there. Can you see it on the StreamYard there?
No, I can't. It's too late.
Okay.
Wait, now I can. Now I can.
Here it is right here.
Could happen to a nicer guy. And by the way, yesterday, so we're talking to Phil Martelli, and somehow, okay, yeah, I can see that. Somehow Ben Simmons creeps into the conversation.
How could it not?
I know. I mean, he's out Michigan.
What'd he say?
Well, he basically, talked about how Philadelphia fans love their players and want their players to love them. You didn't have that,
right?
And it was just such a horrible break.
We don't always love them. We just want to see some effort. Give some damn effort. You know,
Philadelphia fans.
The reason that the Philadelphia fan base turned on Simmons is because he turned on them.
He turned on us.
Okay. Us.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a Philly fan.
You're a radio host. Be neutral.
No, I'm not. That's not my show.
Guys, we're going to go back to tomorrow night's game. It will be 1 versus 3. Because you're going to have Embiid's going to play unbelievable. Harden's going to have his game. Right. And Maxi's going to.
By the way,
and it will be over.
Peter, you concerned Embiid only had 21 points the other day?
He's dealing with his thumb issues.
Yeah, he had the thumb issue on that last overtime shot.
No, I'm looking at it more like he had 21 points in spite of the rest of the team sort of folding around him. Like Embiid and Harden were probably the 2 best offensive Sixers out there. Although percentage-wise, you could talk about bang, bang, George Dunek and his 9 points on 3 3-pointers.
What's wrong with him? Like, hey,
he's hot. He's hot and cold.
He's a hot and cold guy. I mean, he had 4 outstanding looks.
Carlin didn't even bring up the biggest point. Who's going to play on Monday that didn't play in the 2 games in Canada?
Maxey or Thibault.
Yeah, Matisse Thibault will be back. Okay. So all of a sudden you become better defensively just by having that guy in your rotation.
Good point, Pete. That's why we have you sitting over there.
Thank God. I made one. Blind
it's
squirrel
over
finds
tomorrow.
Oh, it's no doubt.
Because where are they going to play? Miami, by the way,
read Joel's lips?
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Joel said, "I don't want to come back here."
Yeah,
when they were having their little kumbaya.
Is he doing his Alex Baum moment?
No, he didn't.
Nobody read his lips.
He didn't say, "I hate this effing place." He didn't say that. He literally said, "Guys, I don't want to come back here."
Well,
and that's fine.
That's great.
And he wants the rest. He knows we end it Monday. We're gonna have some rest.
All right. So Miami's only up 2-1 against the Hawks.
They play today.
Right.
And don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised if the Hawks win.
Hawks win. And Lowry's not playing for Miami, supposedly as of right now.
Is that right?
So that's Hawks can tie that up easily.
So if they can eliminate the Raptors tomorrow night, they get like at least 5 days off.
Right.
Billy, you watching Miami or you watching the Phillies at 7:00? They're both at 7:00.
I'll be clicking. I'll start off watching the Phillies because you go to the second half of a basketball game to catch the
that's
whole
true.
That's true. My dad says it always comes down to the final 2 minutes.
Right?
You know?
I've never seen any sport.
Let's see the
last
order here.
2 minutes of a basketball game could go on for about a half an hour.
I used to
45
tell my
minutes.
kids growing up that they'd be like a 20-point halftime lead. I said, guys, it's going down the wire.
Yeah.
It's going down the wire.
And it does. Bucks Bulls is the first game. That's 1:00. Warriors and Nuggets. How about the whole Nuggets Warriors series? That's been interesting, right, Carlin?
That's a sweep today.
You think?
Yeah. That's a 4 sweep right there.
So Billy's going to put that in his arsenal for why Jokic shouldn't get the
That's
MVP.
exactly right. Listen,
they already voted on it, buddy.
I know. Here's my. It comes out. How come it doesn't come out till June?
Because you're not going to steal the thunder of your own playoffs. You're going to wait until you're in the finals and you have the off day, and then you sort of leak it out.
He did come out with the rookie of the year, though. Rookie of the year came out.
Yeah, you know who it was?
It was the guy from Toronto. Right?
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah. So my viewing pleasure tonight. Well, I'll start off with the Phillies.
That sounds wrong, but please continue.
Why?
It just does to me, but please continue.
I will start off with the Phillies. I'll be watching the Phillies intently. Now, I got the doopy doo tonight, so I will be distracted. But
right, you're going to be like in a dress drinking tea, or
Daddy
have a tea party with me.
I read to her every night. So.
Oh, nice. What are you reading? Good Night Moon?
No, whatever.
Good Night Moon.
I don't know, whatever she picks out, but. I'll be, and then
I would like to hear the Schreiber take on classic children's books.
You know, she said to me,
Little Red Riding Hood all of a sudden overtakes the wolves, or
she said to
the
me,
pigs. Don't build a house; they build a condo. But the mortgage rates are so high. Like Billy's interpretation of classic fairy tales.
Listen, you know what she said to me too the other day? She goes, "Daddy, how about if I read to you?"
Yeah, like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. All right.
I hope you said yes.
If the Phillies win, if they start hitting the ball, I'll stay tuned to that. If not, I'll go to the Miami game.
Miami.
All right. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home to a 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, book a wedding, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. And when you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us. He is our man. All right. My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep in your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road, or if you're away for the winter, you're in Florida. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. Coming up on Monday's show, we'll recap
and high-quality line of beers made with locally sourced all-natural ingredients. From our Angry Osprey IPA to our Strawberry Mango Haywire Twist, our selection of brews will be just what you're looking for. Plus, our tap room is always a good time where you'll feel right at home. Slack Tie Brewery in Cape May Courthouse reminds you to always drink responsibly.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. By the way, guys, Joel Embiid is getting an MRI today.
Yeah, I talked to Keith Pompey about that in postgame. He had mentioned it. Doc Rivers had mentioned it. Then Joel mentioned it. Then they kind of moved on. And then, Keith, being the good beat writer that he is, was like, hey, this is going to happen tomorrow. Like, exactly like he needed the details because he's on the beat, So, yeah, I don't know what the MRI is going to tell us beyond what we already know, which is that it's a ligament issue and that he's constantly in pain. They're not going to put him on the shelf. And Mark Jackson talked about this last night. What he's wearing, the brace that he's wearing, is about the best you can do because you need the range of motion with your hand, and you need to be able, you still got to catch the basketball.
Well,
you need your thumb to do that.
You were a good shot. I mean, when you shoot a basketball, you want to have fingertip control, right?
Yep.
You don't want your palm. You don't want your palm.
Never touches.
The palm never touches the ball. See, I can shoot.
Yeah, it's on your
My
fingers.
brother had a better shot than me, but you want to have good rotation on that ball, right?
I'm not worrying about the MRI.
Yeah. You're not worried about the MRI,
no.
even if it shows like
it doesn't. You think he's not going to play?
No,
he's playing. So
right.
we're not going to use this as an excuse.
So then why don't you just sit Joel Embiid yesterday when things just wasn't?
Oh my God! Yeah, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. Why do you sit him?
It's a question. I'm not suggesting it.
All right. Well, you don't sit him because you think you're going to get out of there maybe with a sweep. If Toronto comes in and bleeps the bed again, or if Siakam doesn't have an all-world game,
they were down by 13 points with 2 minutes to go.
They were down by 17 points in Game 3. You came back and won that one. The margin of points doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's different.
All right. Can I show you my prank here at some point?
Yeah, go ahead. Set it up, Pete.
All right. Thank you. First of all, 19 years ago today, rookie Chase Utley got his first MLB hit, which was a
grand slam
at Veterans Stadium. Now, let me identify the players that are in this clip, okay? Chase Utley, grand slam. You're going to hear that first. You're going to hear the Harry Kalas call, okay? Then, and this is the part I've never seen before, so thank you to John Foley at 2008 Phils with a Z for putting this up. The second half of it is Utley is sitting in the manager's office. Who's the manager?
Fergozzi.
No. Larry
Boa.
Okay.
Boa.
So Boa's the manager, right? Utley's sitting there in the chair. John Kruk is there, sitting there, because like they bring Kruk in to sort of sell it, right?
Right.
And then Ed Wade is in there. So you got Larry Boa, Ed Wade, John Kruk, and Chase Utley. That's the second half. This is about 2 minutes long.
Right.
Let me get this teed up here. Okay. Now first,
so they're pranking on Chase.
They're pranking on Chase. Wait till you hear what they do to him. Okay, this is classic stuff. Here we go.
I love him, man. Is out of here.
Vukovic patting him around third.
That's Scott Palmer.
That's correct. Here we go. That's Ed Wade.
Is that Boa?
No, that's Kruk.
Oh, Kruk.
I think it's Ruben's fault. Do you honestly think Major League Baseball would make me a member of the rules committee? I'm telling you, it's such a great clip. Crooker's got a clipboard, like he's looking all official and solemn.
Well, he's like the union representative.
Major League as a 10-year member. They put me on the rules committee. And then when he turns to us and says, "Do you honestly think Major League Baseball would make me in charge of the rules?" And that's where Utley jumps up and a few expletives come out, and they got him. I mean, they got him.
I told Pete this last week.
I love baseball pranks.
Craig Berube pranked me big time. Scared the living heck out of me. I text him. I text him all the time. Remember, we went to the game. I text him. I text him 2 minutes before they came out.
Less than 2 minutes.
He got right back to me.
I
have texted him during games where he has returned the text messages. Well, last week when he was on TV last week, the Blues were playing Minnesota. I text him, and I don't expect a text back, but if he does, I laugh. He says something funny, right? Nothing. After the game, I get 2 text messages. All of a sudden, I get a phone call. He starts going, "Schweiner." He says, "I don't," and he's using,
a lot of curses.
Right?
Yeah.
You better not ever call me again. Text me. Don't ever call me but while I'm playing. But I said, "Oh, I couldn't tell." "Oh, Chief." And then he got real quiet. He started laughing. He got me. He hung me out to dry.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to lose your number. Don't ever call me again.
That's nice. That's good.
Pranks are good, but that keeps the team loose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I wonder if the Sixers have anybody like that?
That play pranks?
Yeah, or
currently?
Have we heard about anybody that does that on that team?
Yeah, they did something in the regular season where it was somebody's birthday, or maybe they pranked Joel and put his shirt on.
I think that
type
type
of
of
image
stuff
on everybody's
that
shirts.
type of stuff is necessary for a winning team.
Despite his shooting percentage, I think Danny Green, it was behind that prank where everybody was.
Well, he's got credit because he's got 3 rings. He can do that.
Is that what it is?
He's
right?
Yeah.
He's right.
And he can sense when
they're
things are starting to fall apart.
I just love those questions. Like, do you rent or own in Scranton? Then he says, did you drive here or fly here? Well, I think what they want to do is see a plane ticket. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't look like you just drove here. Like you just said, "Oh, the heck with it. I'm going to show up and they'll put me in the lineup." I mean, and then did you hear how they said that they were going to take his hit away? Like he had the grand slam, right? They go 0 for 1, and Utley's just simmering. It's like the fuse is lit. Where's my sports page? I can't believe I can't find it. And every Sunday I find it for you, don't I?
All right, coming up after the break, we're going to talk with Ken Dunek. And Ken Dunek is a great guy. He's the publisher of the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine. They've got Boston Man now. They've got Miami.
I saw Jen down there doing her thing. She's perfect fit for that launch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Ken's really busy, but Ken also was good friends and knows Jay Wright real well.
Good.
When Jay Wright was an intern for the Philadelphia Stars back in the day.
You're going way back.
Yeah. So Philadelphia Stars, we'll talk to them a little bit about Eagles draft and a whole lot more. I want to remind people the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Of course, Kevin Kelly's down there starting people off. Radio Ron Ralston running the show. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan of the class leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience is not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at RDS Auto Group at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. When we return, we'll talk with Ken Dunek. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers playoff basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom
allergy elimination, Lyme disease, fertility, autoimmune disorders, adult and childhood ADD, ADHD, learning disabilities, insomnia, headaches, and all types of pain. Contact them today, 856-285-4788 to start feeling better, or visit them online at sjadvancehealth.com.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, and Mike Carlin on a Sunday. Hey, our next guest, great guy. We worked on a couple live remotes. Former Eagles tight end, former Philadelphia Stars tight end, the publisher of the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine. Can't ask for a nicer guy. Let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room, Ken Dunek. Good morning, Ken.
Ken, you're on. Hello, Ken.
You there, Ken?
Unless you put us on hold. Ken, can you hear us?
Ken, welcome back.
All right, Billy, you
All right,
talk.
so,
I'll figure out what's going on.
So,
I have a quick question for you, the Sixers.
Okay.
Before he comes back. Next, we know we're going to move on. Okay, whether we win tomorrow or not, we're going to win.
Okay.
We're going to win.
Okay.
Who do you want? Do you want Miami or do you want Atlanta? What do you think's a better matchup?
You know what? Who do I want? I think I want Atlanta just to get them back for last year.
Okay, good.
Right?
Same way.
I mean, is that the way you think?
Yeah. And I think it's an easier series, actually.
Are we hooked up now, Pete?
We should be hooked up. He said he could hear us. We couldn't hear him. So let's
go
try
back to
this
the
again.
Maserati
Here we
Mainline
are.
Sports Hotline and welcome in Ken Dunek. Good morning, Ken.
Hello, Billy. Can you hear me now?
We got you now.
I like that commercial. We can hear you great.
Hey, listen, that was a nice intro you gave me the first time. You're my agent now. Let's just go with that.
Ken, so you just got back from Miami. You started opened up the Miami Man magazine down there. How'd that go?
Well, listen, you talk about a guy who is lucky and do what he does. I have to go to Miami once a month now to go party with those people. Do you have any understanding how stressful that can be going down to Miami once a month? So, but yeah, no, we're excited about the future. We're in Boston. We're obviously in Philly and Jersey, and now Miami. And I know this. I'm working pretty hard for a guy who's supposed to be getting ready for retirement. But that's all right.
Hey, Ken, I thought I'd get you on today for a few reasons. Number one, the USFL started their play, and I know you have there's a spot in your heart for the USFL, and specifically the the Philadelphia Stars, and also you knew Jay Wright back then when he was an intern, I guess, he worked in the worked with the Stars.
I did, yeah. Jay got his start in sports as an intern in the marketing department of the Philadelphia Stars, and I can remember Jay in the locker room coming up to me because he knew I played college basketball. So he would pull up his chair by my locker, and of course he played basketball at Bucknell, and we would just talk basketball all the time. We actually had a few interesting pickup games too between me and Irv Eatman and David Riley, and Jay would get involved. There was a little hoop outside of our locker room, and my God, if the coaches would have seen us play those games, they would have had a heart attack because they got pretty vicious at times. But Jay, the thing I'll say about Jay is that he is the same guy now as he was back then. He is one of the nicest, most humble human beings. What a great program. He did everything right there. He was rewarded with 2 national championships and a Hall of Fame. And knowing Jay like I do, I don't think there's any other motive other than he just felt like this is the right time for him and his family to take a step back. I don't think he'll coach anymore. I'm sure people know that schools like UCLA and Tennessee have waived a large number at him. He never wanted to leave Villanova because he's a Philly guy, and he loves the Jersey Shore. I think he's going to spend a lot of time there, and we'll see what happens with him. But just an overall really good guy.
We're talking with Ken Dunek, former Eagle tight end, former Philadelphia Star tight end. The USFL started. Now, I know you made a comment to me, I think, or maybe it was on Twitter, about the helmets. You weren't sure about the color of the helmets. But how do you think it's going the first 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, the helmets bother me. We were gold helmets. They have yellow helmets. So let's not pass that by. That's a big deal. And I think the red in their jersey is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And what made me mad was every other uniform looked to be exactly the same except ours. But getting past all that, I'm thrilled that there's an opportunity for young, aspiring players to get to play professional football. These kids aren't making a lot of money, and they're risking their health for about $50,000 a year. But like the old USFL and guys like Sam Mills and people like that, it was a stepping stone for them to get into the NFL. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen with this new USFL. I'll tell you this, I've seen a couple games and I thought the play was pretty good, maybe a little bit better than I expected. Just because you don't know the names on the back of the jerseys don't mean these kids can't play. They may have gone to a smaller school or played behind a great player at a major college. But, the old USFL proved that there's plenty of good players that can put a good product on the field, and this is an opportunity for them to do that. So I'm really happy for the players and the coaches.
Including Vinny Papale, Vince Papale's son. Look at us. We're like mind building. That's exactly what Billy was going to ask you, Ken.
Vinny Papale, I did a couple of Delaware games back when I was doing CAA for Fox Sports. And, Vinny is a pretty good little player. I mean, given, you look at the Wes Welkers and, Danny Amendolas and people like that. To me, Vinny reminds me of that. A nice little slot receiver that can get open, maybe not blazing speed, but runs really good routes and has good hands. And, it wouldn't surprise me to see Vinny sneak into an NFL camp and have some success. It's such a fickle profession that it just takes one coach to like you and believe in you, and all of a sudden your career is born. And obviously I'm very close with his father. I hope that happens for Vinny because I know he's put in a lot of time and he really deserves it.
Ken Dunek's our guest here on the Maserati the Mainline Hotline, former Eagles tight end, Philadelphia Stars, Jersey Man Magazine, Miami Man Magazine, Boston Man Magazine. I'll just throw them all out. Ken, since you played the position, I thought of you this week when Billy said we were going to have you on because, Billy, how about this news that they're going to convert Arcega-Whiteside to tight end? Now, Ken, your reaction when you hear that news, you played the position, and here's a guy that goes, yeah, sure, I'm a receiver, but you know what? Now I'm going to be a tight end. What is your probability of success on this experiment? I'll put it.
Well, the position isn't the same as it used to be. Tight ends back in my day had to be excellent blockers and receivers too. And, in this modern day of football, they flex the tight ends out. They play them on third and long situations, which was a situation where a lot of times the coaches would take the tight end out and put in 4 wide receivers. I don't think blocking is as necessary to the position as it was. And even a great player like Zach Ertz wasn't known as a great blocker. They would split him out in a wide receiver sort of environment. So it's obvious that Whiteside is not panning out as a wide receiver. I think this is a last-ditch effort to see if they can move him over. But again, the Eagles are pretty stacked with tight ends right now, so I think that's going to be a tough chore for him to make the team. But, we'll see what happens.
All right, Ken, I know you do the Bird Brain podcast with your buddy Mark Eckel. The NFL draft is next week, and I know you're in tune to what's going on there. Mike Carlin and I and Brad Quast had an opportunity to go to the Maxwell Award this year, and we had an opportunity to stand next to and talk with Jordan Davis from Georgia. He looks somebody like, I know the Eagles have a need to bolster their defense. Is that the direction you want to see them go, or how you look at this year's draft?
I mean, I just love these players, these Alabama and Georgia defensive players. I think Jordan Davis is a guy who's slotted right around that 15 to 17 range. I think he would be a good pickup for the Birds. Obviously, they could use a safety. I don't see a Kyle Hamilton falling down into that range, but I do think there's some offensive linemen that are available. Eventually we have to replace Jason Kelsey, who's getting up there. And so the Eagles have some needs, and they've got, the 15th and the 17th pick in the draft, I believe. So they're going to get a good player. I just hope that Howie doesn't try to outsmart the room again and do an Andre Dillard, Jalen Reagor type of a thing. Hopefully he's getting some good direction, and we'll pick the proper player here.
Ken, if you had to put your GM hat on, how would you draft? They say you draft for need or draft the best player available on the board. What direction do you think the Eagles should go? I mean, they have some holes defensively. This team's more than 1 or 2, 3 players away from being a championship caliber type team. So what would you draft for need or best player on the board?
I think in this day and age of free agency and player movement, I do think you draft the best player on the board. Now, there are times when you just have an overwhelming need at a certain position, and you'll try to slot a player, not necessarily reach, but maybe move up in the draft to get more of a position player that can help your team immediately. I do know this, that players coming into the league can contribute far quicker than they did in the old days. As a matter of fact, quarterbacks, it was common practice for new quarterbacks to sit for maybe 2 or 3 years and get some seasoning. And now there's so much money invested in these young kids at the top of the draft that teams feel the pressure to play them right away. So that's different. I do think the Eagles, I'd love to see the Eagles draft a guy like Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia. When's the last time we drafted a linebacker?
Well, it's been a long time.
Jerry Robinson, baby.
I mean, go, you're reaching back in my day, which is pretty long ago. So, but yeah, if they came away with Jordan Davis or Nakobe Dean, or even if they want to go wide receiver, Jamison Williams is an attractive pick at that 15 slot. I do like players from Alabama and Georgia. They're just battle-tested tough, and they're the cream of the crop 5-star players. So, those would be a few names that I would hope that the Eagles would take off the board early.
Ken, it's Mike Carlin. Question for you. All year round, we kept hearing about quarterback talk. Is it Hurts the guy? Is Hurts not the guy? And all that. And then near the end of the year, we figured out Hurts was the guy. With Howie doing what he did about trading and getting another number one pick for next year, do you think in the back of his mind he's actually putting him a little bit on notice to say we're with you this year, but this is the direction we could go in the future with the 3 number ones?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. I think this move was dictated to give Hurts another year to see what he can do. Hurts has some talent. He's got to be more consistent. I did go to a few games last year and watch some tape and had a good end zone view of one of the games. And he's just inconsistent. He makes some, poor decisions that most young quarterbacks will make. I do think that he's got the character and the leadership qualities to be a successful quarterback. I think his arm strength is average to slightly above average. He doesn't have a rocket, but he's got enough of an arm to be successful at the position. So I do think that move was predicated on we'll stack 3 picks next year. If there's a quarterback that we like, we're going to go ahead and maybe package those picks to move up, or if the one that we like is available at that position, we'll do it. But I do believe you're exactly right. I think that that's what that move was all about. And Hurts is going to get a year, and I think he deserves it. And I hope he succeeds, because it'd be nice to have your quarterback in place and then 3 first-round draft picks where you didn't have to, move up and draft another one, or you've got a kid with some experience. So there's no question in my mind that the Eagles are looking forward to giving Hurts the opportunity to take the starting helm, play again this year. And if it doesn't work out, they'll go to plan B next year.
Ken Dunek with us here on the Locker Room. And Ken, we asked all you these tough football questions, but we might as well end with, I get to end with the funny question, which is, and let me hold this up to the StreamYard. There you go, Billy, and everybody else that's watching on the StreamYard. Ken, I want to know your opinion on the Blob. The Stars have a mascot, to me, that looks like the whammy for Press Your Luck hooked up with I don't know who, but not only are you mad about the helmets, what do you think about the Blob?
Well, the worst thing about the old Philadelphia Stars is we had terrible mascots back then too. I don't think they've improved on that very much. Now here's a trivia question. I think Jay will back this up. I believe Jay Wright actually had to wear the Stars mascot uniform.
Oh my God!
At a game, I think he was a substitute because somebody didn't show up. If you ever have him on, ask him about that. We're pretty sure that's a true story, but yeah, that mascot is pretty weak. We got to do something about that.
Well, Ken, listen, man, I really appreciate you taking time Sunday morning to jump on with us. I wanted to get your thoughts on Jay Wright, the Philadelphia Stars and the Eagles draft, and of course you came through for us. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
There he is, Ken Dunek, publisher of the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine. Great guy, Mike. I mean, just such a You know what? He encourages me, gives me words of wisdom. He's like a father figure to me in a way, and I know we're comparable in ages, but he's a great guy.
He's an outstanding guy. And like he said, retirement's never been harder, but it's a good problem to have. So I put in Philadelphia Stars mascot old school. And of course, a lot of the pictures of the blob come up, and by the way, it might be Dave Raymond's company or like that mascot company that made it. But there's an old shot here. It looks like it could be Franklin Field of the Philadelphia Stars. And God, they just look like deranged chickens or like deranged ponies or something like that. There's a bunch of mascots in there. But I do not, I'm trying to find what the old mascot was. And
you do that.
We'll ask Jay Wright sometime if that happens.
Second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Hey, just about everybody in our area has heard of the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunek. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007. When we return, we'll wrap it up on this fast-paced Sunday morning locker room right here on 97.3 ESPN.
A no-doubter for Bryce Harper. Look out.
The Philadelphia
Certified pre-owned.
Accord, CRV, HRV, and Civic. Be a Rossi VIP. Get your name on the list. Reserve your vehicle in production now. Visit Rossi Honda or online at rossihonda.com. We treat you better, period.
I mixed that well, didn't I?
I love that.
Yeah, man, I hit that spot right there.
Saw you so many times
don't
today,
do that.
and I guess it's
not how we're ending this show.
Hey, great show today to PT. And
Flies by, doesn't it? Flies by.
You know what? This is the fastest 2 hours in radio. We have a great time. We have a lot of fun talking about sports, but we need our Sixers to
From
win.
a fan's perspective.
From a fan's perspective.
So listen,
I don't
while
want to be
we're-
objective. I want to be a fan.
Oh, you're definitely
It's
subjective.
More fun.
Are you going to gear up the song? You going to play the song?
Which song? The Sixers song?
Yeah, you want to put the Sixers.
No, they didn't win. They don't get the song.
Yeah, they don't get the
They don't get the song until they win. When they win, they get the song. They didn't win, no
All right.
song.
So, PT, you say the Sixers win tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I absolutely think they'll win tomorrow.
Marlon?
No doubt.
You know, and
No,
not for nothing, but I hope they win just so
Killed you.
just so that my buddy Mike Gill doesn't have to sweat it out. You know what's going to happen, right?
What?
If the Sixers lose, he's got Sixers playoffs and NFL draft, and there's only one radio station, buddy. That is a nightmare scenario for a market manager who is also the host. So trust me, nobody's going to be gripping more if it looks like Toronto's going to win than Mike Gill. You know who's throwing out the first pitch tonight? I've been refreshing my email to look for the Phillies notes, and then I realized I'm an idiot. They don't play till 7, so they're not going to put the Phillies notes out.
Pete, you're an
I'm an idiot.
You're an
I'm a
idiot.
moron. Yes,
Okay.
I'm a dope. I'm a dummy.
I only say
I'm a
that.
nitwit.
I only say that for my brother. He's stupid.
You can call me whatever you want. It's all fun and games. But Jay Wright and Kyle Neptune are throwing out the first pitch tonight. And it's the Fanatic's birthday. We were talking about the Blob mascot. I thought that Ken Dunek was very diplomatic. I thought that, we were on the radio, so there was probably, look, I think that's actually a pretty cool mascot, the Blob. I don't know that that's going to bring anybody into the seats. But
Look, the Philly Fanatic's the best one of all sports, don't you think?
yeah, and it's his birthday
Every
sport tonight.
I mean, when he
All
when he-
children
when he-
14 and under
when he-
get a Fanatic T-shirt.
when he-
Unfortunately, ESPN stole the game, and who's going to take your kid out on a Sunday night when it's a school night? You know what I mean?
He parachuted in and did that slide. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was hysterical.
Oh, did you see what happened in Washington?
No.
The dum-dums, speaking of dum-dums, in Washington, they had the Golden Knights parachute team
Yeah.
come in. They never cleared it. They never told the people at the United States Capitol. So the U.S. Capitol went into lockdown. Pelosi was hiding in her office or whatever. She was all scared. Everybody was, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get political, but somebody didn't tell somebody, and they actually thought like it was an active threat. How dumb is that?
I just had the doopy do in Washington last week. We went to see my father.
Thank you for that. You did a nice job with that.
was,
And you took a picture of my cousin's grave, too.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
So here's a little quick story behind that. I couldn't find because the numbers, my dad's grade is marked with a number, so it helps you find the plot. He's on Patton Drive. Pete showed me the numbers, but the numbers on that side at 60 didn't jive. So there were two Army officers walking down the guys that do the ceremonies,
right?
And I said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking." I showed him the thing. I'm looking for this grave site, and it was raining pretty good. Those guys went.
They took you right to it.
Took me right to it, man.
Wow,
Great.
that's
And they
really nice.
They were squared away.
That's special.
And thank God we have people like.
Were
that
my
to serve us.
directions poor?
No,
it's just a different numbering system.
Yeah, the numbering system was kind of off. I don't know what the reason for that is.
Probably.
My dad has 5 numbers. Your cousin only has 4.
Is that a good thing?
Well, just it threw me off.
Right.
I don't know what it's just where the plot is.
But you took a great picture. I sent it to my uncle, his father, and he was very thankful for that picture.
I started shedding tears. Not shedding, I wasn't crying, but I was like, and my daughter says, "Dad, why are you crying?" I said, "Well, it's emotional. I haven't seen my father. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery, and I haven't seen him in a little while. Plus, you're here.
Pandemic,
the first time you're getting an opportunity to see your father's grave.
When she gets older, she's going to remember that day.
Yeah.
I took her to the Lincoln Memorial. We went to the Washington Monument. Nice. I took her to the Naval Museum.
Nice. Very good.
All right, guys. Well, listen, man, great show today.
Go
PT,
Navy, beat Army.
Yep, go Navy, beat Army. Mike Carlin, great job today. Once again, condolences to you and your family for the passing of your father.
Yep.
Pete Thompson, as always, great job. I want to thank Tommy Greene for on the Mound segment, brought to you by
Aaron Beta's Golf and Sports Performance Club, GSFFitness.com.
Phillies tonight at 7.
Aaron Nola on the hill.
All right, Aaron Nola on the hill.
Thanks to Ken Dunek.
Tomorrow, we got the 76ers. Of course, stay tuned for Mike Gill and Sports Bash, 2 to 6. I'll get you set up for that game. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday. because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Mike Carlin and Pete said the Sixers are going to take it in 5.
Book it, baby. It's over.
Book it, Dano.
You got it.
We'll see you next week here in the locker room on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and we will see you next Saturday and Sunday right here in the locker room.
The NBA playoffs continue on ESPN Radio.
Poole, wing left for 3. Got it. This guy. Hot.
Steph Curry, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson have been